Welcome back to Famous People English Stories Audiobook in Minutes. Okay, let's just get right into it. We live in this world that is just completely obsessed with talking, right? Talking about our goals, talking about our grand plans, talking about a version of success we haven't even earned yet. But there's a huge conflict right at the center of this. The constant pressure to perform for an audience versus the quiet, immense power of actually producing results. And this explainer, it's all about making that shift from one to the other.
So I'm going to start with a pretty direct question for you, and I want you to be really honest with yourself here. How much of your time and your energy goes into announcing what you're about to do versus, just quietly doing it? It's such a common trap, because talking about it, man, it can really feel like you're making progress. But as we're about to see, it's often the very thing that's holding you back.
And this really boils down to two fundamental paths you can take in life. On one side, you've got the talker. You know this person. They're the one posting about their new gym membership, telling everyone about the book they're gonna write. They're chasing validation. But on the other side, you have the builder. They're not posting, they're not announcing, they are just quietly day in and day out, putting in the work, building the habits, and making real tangible progress. One stays stuck in place, and the other moves forward.
So why do so many of us fall into that talker category? I mean, what's the deal? It's because of this really powerful psychological loop, a concept we're going to call the performance trap. Let's actually break down this cycle that keeps so many good people talking instead of actually doing.
So what is this trap exactly? Well, the performance trap is when you start to care more about being seen working than you do about actually doing the work. You get this little hit of approval for your plans, right? A like, a comment, and your brain mistakes that social reward for actual achievement. You get all the satisfaction without any of the sacrifice. And that, my friend, is exactly why it's a trap.
And the real issue here is that this feeling, while it's powerful, it's also incredibly fleeting. As one source puts it so well, talking is easy. It gives you a quick hit of confidence, but it doesn't give you results. That quick hit is addictive. It feels good, but it's totally temporary and hollow because it's not backed by any real action. It doesn't build skill, it doesn't build discipline, and it for sure doesn't build results.
Okay, so if performing for an audience is the trap, what's the escape route? How do you get out? Well, the antidote is to remove the audience. Just take them out of the equation entirely. The way out is found in the power of silence. This is where the real, foundational work actually begins.
And this brings us to the core philosophy. Focus in silence, win in public. What does that mean? It's a commitment to put your head down, to do the work that nobody sees, to grind every single day without needing a single clap or comment from anyone. You learn to trust that the results, when they're finally ready, will speak for themselves. Your transformation, that becomes the announcement.
Just let that sink in for a second. The most powerful move you'll ever make is the one nobody sees coming. There is this incredible, quiet strength that grows when nobody's watching. When you stop broadcasting your every move, you start building real, unstoppable momentum. And the outcome? It surprises everyone, maybe even yourself.
So, how do we actually put this into practice? I mean, it's not enough to just understand the philosophy. You need a system, right? A way to actually do it. So let's look at a practical method that you can start using literally today.
Here it is, a simple 4-step process. First, you have to decide you're done with the nonsense, done with the performance. It's a quiet internal decision. Second, close your mouth. Just stop announcing, stop posting, stop explaining everything. Third, build your habits in private. This is your personal work. And fourth, and this is the most important part, show up every single day. Consistency is what separates the talkers from the builders. It's everything.
And the key to this system is just how simple it is. You don't need to announce that you're going to start waking up early. You just wake up early. Your habit doesn't care about your social media likes, it only responds to one thing: repetition. The strength is built in the quiet, unseen, daily action. That's it. And what are we building in this silence? We're building the pillars of a strong life. Discipline. That's the foundation of everything. Your physical and your mental health. Your knowledge through reading and learning. Your craft, whatever it is you do in this world. And maybe most importantly, you're building self-respect, the kind that's earned from keeping the promises you make to yourself.
Now, once you commit to this silent system, a whole new challenge pops up. The world doesn't just stop because you've decided to start. So the next battle is to protect your focus from all the noise that's trying to pull you right back into that performance trap.
And this is the daily fight, isn't it? On one side, you have your internal clarity, your vision for your life, the high standards you set for yourself, and the pace that you know is right for you. But on the other side is all that external noise, other people's opinions, their doubts, their endless distractions. Your job is to keep your attention locked firmly on your own internal compass and just tune out the rest.
This right here is so empowering. You don't have to make your journey make sense to people who are just standing still. Your only obligation is to that future version of yourself, and you owe that person progress, not explanations to everybody else.
And you have to remember, when the criticism comes, and oh, it will, it's almost never really about you. People see you doing something that they were too afraid to do, and it holds up a mirror to them. They project their own limitations and fears onto you. The key is to not absorb it. Don't take it personally. Just keep your head down and keep working.
And this brings us to the payoff. After all the quiet work, all the protected focus, the daily grind, what happens? What's it all for? Well, this is the part where you let the results do all the talking for you.
People won't see the alarm clock going off when it's still dark outside. They won't see you choosing to work when you could be comfortable. That part of the journey is completely invisible to them.
They won't see the hundreds of tiny no's you said to distractions day after day. They won't see the consistency on the days you felt absolutely zero motivation. And you know what? They weren't supposed to. That work was for you and you alone.
And then, one day, it happens. All that accumulated effort becomes visible. The change in how you carry yourself, the skills you've developed, the life you've built, it all becomes completely undeniable. The world doesn't need to hear your intentions. It needs to witness your transformation.
This transformation builds something way more valuable than just external success. It builds real confidence. And I'm not talking about that fragile ego boost you get from a compliment. I'm talking about deep, unshakable self-respect that comes from knowing you showed up for yourself again and again and again when no one was watching.
Ultimately, the goal isn't to be loud. It's to be undeniable. True achievement has this quiet power to it. Real success doesn't need to scream. It doesn't beg to be seen. It just shows up.
So we end right where we began, but now the choice is yours. One path leads to a life of excuses and a social feed full of empty announcements. The other path leads to actual results and a life built on a foundation of quiet, consistent effort. The choice is yours. So, what's it going to be? Will you keep talking, or will you finally start building?